and whether or not thought it was really organized or not, or whatever. Was this something you felt was worthwhile?
Yes, I definitely
Is
think
it
so.
something you would be interested in doing again?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, because that makes the rest of it very relevant. Okay, so what I wanted to do was this is, everybody probably has their way of evaluation. This is just the way I like to do it. So start, stop, continue. So what things, and I'll explain what these are. So start is things we should start doing, based on what we've done here, things we should start doing that we're not doing, things you'd like to do. And don't limit yourselves to anything. Pie in the sky. Then stop will be things that we've done that, that just didn't work, or I don't like that, we need to stop it. So, and then continue. Things that you really like that we did that you want to see continue. So we're going to start with start. So what types of things would you like to do that we didn't do? Pie in the sky. Anything, everything, Start.
Things we should start doing at RYLA Summit.
Yes. Yeah, things that we're not currently doing that we'd like to see done.
Geez, we'd be spewing them out if we've been disappointed.
No, actually, I got one.
Go.
There's never enough time to chat with others.
Yes.
Okay, so
So
more.
I'd love to have more.
That's a.
More free chat
Free
time.
time?
Yeah.
Okay.
More time than
Sounds like a RYLA feedback. I mean, we need
And you're
more
not
free
gonna,
time.
by the way, you're not gonna hurt my feelings. I want everybody to feel like you can be honest, so I agree. There wasn't enough time to that. So what else? What other things should I say?
Different locations.
Different possible locations, okay?
Better weather.
Yeah, no other weekend. Hey,
Last time of year.
Hawaii.
Hawaii, okay, so.
That's right.
Oh, and maybe just go back and forth between the two of you, just so that you.
Well, there hasn't really been,
Stop on this.
since we're trying to do our game out there really hasn't been the opportunity for that. There really hasn't been an opportunity for us to kind of cruise everybody's booth with them there. That was a feature that we weren't able to use because there was so much going on in here.
Booth time.
But yeah, I guess, or no
Yeah.
necessity for booths, possibly.
Booth time or no booth.
Because we could have our chat time to do.
Okay.
I would like to do more of the experiential things because, we're all preaching that your butt can only take as much as your, your brain can only take as much as your butt can, and then we sat a majority of the time. So,
Yeah, and I'm a doer, so I
Less
like
butt
to do
time.
more
less butt time.
doing than writing the program. Because then I can
Okay,
remember
what
it.
else? What else would you like to see done? I guess personally, one thing I'd like to do, I'd like to have somebody from Rotary International here. Somebody that's high up that says, that they can maybe get some ideas, maybe share some things. I'd like to have somebody here. Let's,
Is it
Well,
Roland that person?
yeah, we had Rolo.
okay?
He's on RYLA International.
The rounds, I would have loved to have been able to hear what happened in the other two that I wasn't conducting.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Eliminate the
I wish-
rounds.
Well,
Yeah, eliminate the
eliminate
rounds.
Okay, that'll be the stop, that'll be the stop.
I would have just done 6.5 minutes per group and
Yes.
just let
Or
everybody hear everything.
Could we do like whole group discussions too? So instead of doing them so specific, could we just say like, okay, now we're just gonna we're all gonna sit in a circle or something, and let's talk about budgets and see what,
But the whole group
But the
instead
whole
of.
group,
yeah.
so that way,
If
I
we
mean,
had
if
one
you're in a
group that
different
was
group
one
than I am
person.
and you have the greatest idea ever, I may not hear it.
Yeah.
Several things came up that were discussed in those
Okay,
groups.
other things that we're not doing, you'd like to
Yeah.
see us to start doing. Start doing.
One thing, and since the summit's not over yet, I don't know if we're gonna do this or not, but I think we should really promote the RYLA Summit to our respective clubs, and really all the clubs in our districts. And let them know, oh yeah, we had this RYLA Summit in Denver, and and what we're really doing is pushing RYLA.
Have these student librarians come
Okay, student related.
to observe any new
And
spiritual
one,
learning activities.
and I know some of us, I think a majority of us involve youth staff in some way. I would love to see us have some breakouts just specifically for them to get some ideas. Without us there, because they can say things sometimes that they don't feel comfortable saying around us.
What about meals for us to partake in without paying, or playing the restaurant game?
Good.
They have like a family dinner one day.
Yes,
Because you basically say, spend more time here instead of having to chase a meal somewhere else.
Right,
Yeah.
I don't wanna go anywhere,
Sure.
but I don't wanna be a part of that.
And you know what I
Yeah.
pay those,
Not that.
No, well, I mean, I'm here focusing on this. I know we're here during that, but, you know, you break bread together and it's a equalizer and it's a great way to,
Beer during the day.
okay?
Other ideas, things we should start doing. Like 60.
I think it would have been fun for each of us to bring one exercise that was
Yes.
a
Yes.
building thing. So each of us could come in and say, well, we've done that, but that's really cool. Again, more experienced things, but if each of us brought our favorite thing,
I
we
love,
find some great
love
stuff.
that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
a great idea. So
Under the different areas.
Because it's one thing to hear about it, and it's another thing to experience it, because then you remember how it's done.
Like the spaceship outside, each of us had something like that.
Right.
Our
Some
favorite.
different categories
Well,
for
that's some great
activities,
stuff
so
to take
that not everybody brings an icebreaker, not everybody brings just team building stuff, but just have some different categories of different things.
Okay, other ideas of things you want to see us start doing over currently?
You're in charge of stuff.
Any other starts?
We didn't really talk about finances at all.
Good.
Budgets.
Yeah, I want to talk more about
It's a good session,
fundraising, since I want to raise $1 million. for
Okay,
this.
so fundraising ideas.
And it's a really good session, I got some great ideas
Yeah.
for fundraising.
Our recap, if you're gonna continue on with the round, of the best things that were talked about in that round to share to the whole group, the key things that came out. So if you're gonna stick with the rounds, have a recap so that everyone can benefit from the best takeaway.
Other starts?
I also kind of thought that debriefing and processing questions were really similar, the talks.
So that'd be a stop?
Cut it down to one,
That'd be a stop or revise,
combine.
just similar information.
Combine.
Combine similar sessions, something like that. Put that in this.
Stop,
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 I
and
guess.
stop.
You better think of something that starts with CO, because I'm not crossing this out.
Come back.
Stop bad mouthing the tall guys.
I said tall guys, I did not say tall men, and there were some tall women in our group too.
Again, pie in the sky, swag bags. I like that great idea. I like that concept. Have swag bags here for folks. That's not the CO, but.
what?
You can pick up swag bags. Something like this, but it says RYLA on it, you know, and get RYLA pens and cool stuff.
Oh, swag, that's a new word for me, I like it.
If you do something, again, in conjunction with pets, let your vendors know ahead of time that you have a RYLA function going on, because they would have brought
Yes.
their RYLA stuff.
Oh,
They
man.
didn't know that we
Okay.
were so.
So,
Okay, I got another one. How about start paying a little bit so Eric doesn't get saddled with booze and everything else?
that's gonna be part of it.
Oh, you got this.
There you go.
Just make that up.
One of the things we have to start doing, and this goes into what's gonna happen now, what I'm gonna just talk about a little bit after, is we're gonna have to put together some sort of organizing committee to do this, because I'm one person, and as much as I enjoy this, I'll kill myself if I try to do it all by myself.
Maybe start.
Organize a committee.
Rotating the location of where it's.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Look around,
Yeah.
so it's not as big a
We
burden.
actually, our chairperson offered to have it in
Okay.
Tennessee next year.
The READ conference you guys attend, is there anything that they do, because I've never been to it, is there anything that they do that we should start doing?
Not really, it was very similar, but they really broke it up. We would do a couple of icebreakers or whatever your experiential time. Then we'd do something and then we'd go back and do some, and then we'd go back and, so they just broke it up. And we did activities with the kids. They had a reunion for their RYLA.
That's when they do their training for their junior counselors.
It was a reunion for them. But we were also at a camp.
And we were at camp, so we were dormed together, so that was kind of fun, but
Sounds like a lot.
How about
Yeah, no, it's okay.
get local,
we're at our little cabin club.
we've had RYLArians here that have been there and are now, part of our team, but how about get local RYLArians from this past year or two,
Maybe a short session.
if nothing else, just to, for,
They should have stuff separate from us, but then we got to observe.
Kind of get their perspective.
Like
Yeah,
we can get their
get their-
opinions of RYLA and then build from what they say.
You know, one of the things, the nice thing about doing this as a part of pets or something like this, and I'd love to see this grow to 400 to 500 people. But I like the speakers. You know, those of you who already in the meals, I understand you can't hear them, but there's some amazing speakers. So I'd like to see some dynamic, RYLA-related speakers. You know, there's got to be somebody out there. I mean, Heather's a really good example, but there's got to be more Heathers out there that RYLA really changed their lives and, you know.
Do the other clubs, like, for example, our Pets is coming up, and RYLA puts on a program at Pets to educate the incoming president, so we've got the same thing going on. It's just a duplicate, but with different, so I'm not trying to downplay it, it's just, yeah, my focus was RYLA this week, I've got Pets back then.
Sure.
the one thing with, when Leslie and I went to our district to talk about RYLA, we had 10 minutes. We can't hardly get them energized in 10 minutes, so that's part of your, talking to your district to allow whatever time you think you might want and see what they can give you. So that's kind of a separate issue with each
And
district.
it really
pets.
varies with every district governor, in
Yeah.
our case. Our district governor decides that.
Yeah.
So sometimes they've given us time and others.
And at a district, if we were at a district conference and not here, we could have been out promoting RYLA and every one of the breakouts and all that stuff. We could have had a booth and you could get a lot of interest that way, whereas right now, we've been here this whole time. But so that's not necessarily a start thing, but.
Anything else think we should start doing?
On the programs at the RYLA conferences, some of those people who come up there to speak are just dynamic. They blow you away. And some of them maybe not quite so much. But because we now have everyone's email address, what about something like this? If one of you get a speaker to come to your RYLA conference that is just really good, maybe letting some of the other districts know about that, so that maybe we could make contact.
So maybe a speaker's bank?
Does anyone
Yeah,
pay
so that's
for
really
does anyone pay for their speakers? Ours are all volunteers.
Usually they're
NASA astronauts, governors, guys that climb Mount Everest.
One thing that we do in, well, in the government where I work, that I thought would be good for this is, we have, major professional speakers will come in and do, they get 30 minutes to present to all the different courts in this one, like the 11th Circuit that's on at, Georgia, Alabama, Florida. And they come in for free and present in hopes that that court will have them come back and pay for them to come back. But maybe we could have something like that, but then they would come here to present that in hopes that they could get us to sign them up, maybe at a reduced price, knowing that 5 of us are going to sign that person up or something. So a bank of speakers, but maybe have them come and present.
Sure.
But of course geared to RYLA.
Yeah, geared to Riley.
Speaker tryouts.
Yeah, speaker tryouts.
Think they're gonna come to Pennsylvania?
Yeah, that would be our challenge there, is we could have some great speakers from Colorado that aren't gonna want to travel to the middle of Nebraska for not without compensation.
Right.
So, but yeah,
But there are speakers out there that either have connections with Rotary or
all
RYLA,
right.
and they look at it as an honor just to be able to go speak to these kids. And that's the kind of mindset that we're looking for. If they want to get paid, then it's like, okay, go to the Lions Club or something.
Anything else under start?
10 people at the Lions Club meeting.
Okay, let's switch to stop. So things that we did, like, that just didn't work, we shouldn't do that anymore.
I don't like the group thing. Unless you have
Rounds.
Unless you
Round robin, I guess?
Yeah. I didn't like the no food.
But you could
We
do
ran out of
rounds
water.
differently, but just so that
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
got the same exposure instead of only choosing two.
Stop the persecution over who ate lunch and didn't.
There was only like, what, 4 or 5 people on that list.
I guess one
If
thing
that
that
tipped them over.
I think is,
4 or 5 people.
regardless of whether you do it in
Yeah,
conjunction
they-
with pets or not, we're gonna have to have a bigger facility.
Yeah, this room
This-
is too
If,
small.
if we would even do it, say, we're gonna do it here again in conjunction with pets, they're out of room, we'd have to do it. So, I don't know how you would say.
Stop small facilities.
But Eric, the price was right.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
if you had to charge us a little bit
Sure.
in order to get a decent room,
Yeah.
then
And I think at some point, they're not gonna let us do that anymore. I think they did it out of the kindness of their heart, but you grow beyond 40,
Yeah,
we're.
but if you have a lot of people attending this, the hotel will comp a room or two too. Let you have your own meeting space.
do we have any more space?
Other things you think we should stop doing?
Yeah, that was good.
Well, I'd like to know next year who went somewhere and what they learned from another club. And what made it better, because you guys showed some interest in coming to a different place.
Yeah.
I'd like to know who did that and
Yes.
what they learned.
Check-ins,
Yeah, just follow up on.
post-summit check-ins.
I wish I could.
Yeah.
That wouldn't stop us from going to RYLA from another closer to you.
Yes, unfortunately, they all seem to be at the same exact time.
Other things we should stop doing. Don't like what we're doing. Okay. Is there things then that we should, like what we did, we should continue to do it?
Anything else?
Just do it.
The presentations of what everyone does at their individual RYLA sparks a lot of, talk.
Controversy.
You too can have an all day
And you get up before I go and start talking about how to solve our problem. We have to know the problems.
You made it sound so bad, I'm like, we got the greatest thing going, we haven't had an issue in at least 10 or 12 years.
Other things you'd like to see continue doing?
Like sharing of data,
Okay.
Sharing of data.
materials.
And maybe you can even use, I think you suggested, or you guys use Google Docs?
Mhm.
Yes, so do we. I don't know if we use that, but it's, however you're gonna do it, so it's an easy share, so you don't have to.
Change everybody.
I like the idea of the individual tables to show stuff off, but it was really hard flying in and trying to figure out.
Yeah.
I mean, there was stuff I really wanted to bring, but there was no.
Natalie brought a presentation board.
Yeah, Carrie did it all the way to my.
I know, I thought about it, I said,
Okay, so maybe.
We saw we're like
continue to
that
have
girls here for a ride.
I know.
sharing
So
tables.
I have one, maybe some electricity, so we just bring our laptop and we can
show
do a
it.
slideshow. Or, but then somebody else brought up a really good point that we didn't even have time to really go out there and look at them.
Yeah, so I would say.
So never mind.
Actually, we should bring them up to the suites, what we're thinking about doing. We're gonna bring our game up to the suite.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Don't you do it? That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, after a few glasses of wine, I'm gonna try to
Hey, I
I think it's gonna be easier.
I can throw it in this bar.
We
I
have
think
to
it's
give our
gonna be
prizes
easier.
away.
Yeah.
We have to
yeah,
give
no
our prizes
problem.
away.
I'll
You
do
can
the
just do it for
labyrinth
me.
finger thing first.
Give me that rubber mist and I'll be fine.
A question, I guess, somebody asked me earlier, I guess, I'm curious, how many of you would have not come to this if it had not been part of pets? Is there anybody that would not come?
I think a way to rephrase
Yeah,
that,
if it
Eric, would be maybe not so much not came with part of pets, but if this would have cost us an extra X amount of dollars for whatever you think it might be, if we didn't, I mean, because like, if the price was right here, if it would have cost an extra $200 to have some of these other amenities, would we still come? Would that,
One of
I mean,
us would.
That's really a different question, because
when we went to read, we had to pay a fee.
Yeah.
It was $175 for the camp meals, everything was included for Friday, Saturday, and half day Sunday. Yeah,
I think what it's really asking is how many people came because of the pets that was here.
oh,
In conjunction with.
I think,
pets,
well,
right?
John that was sitting over here, was he some of the riffraff that came from the pets? Well, maybe it will solve that problem.
Yeah, we don't have these random folks.
I mean, my only thought was,
Baby city.
is that, you know, then you, I don't know when everybody does all their pets, but, you know, you share transportation, you know, possibly share rooms. That was my only thinking of doing it together. And again, if, I mean, for the dynamic speakers, getting the Rotary International president-elect, I mean, I'm not saying that everybody would be excited to see him, but you're not gonna get him for 40 people. You know, you're gonna need 600-700 people. So doing it in conjunction with an event like this, it gives you an opportunity to see people like
It was
that.
a draw for me.
But these are our different conventions, some of them are our pets, I mean, it's duplicated for us in some manners.
Sure.
You know,
Has anybody seen him?
Is he speaking tonight?
He's speaking one word.
I want to go
Oh,
to
tomorrow
her.
morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
He'll be here tonight, but you can take photos with him tonight.
I'm gonna find him.
Okay, anything else we should continue to do?
Everything else?
Politician.
Any other thoughts, start, stop, continue? Anybody has?
Actually, Eric, I thought your schedule was great. Oh,
Yeah.
very nice having that.
I'm just a lot
I
of
like-
stuff.
Having it ahead of time was very nice,
Yeah.
which is so funny because we never give our schedule to our kids, just in case we have to change something. We're like, you'll find out when you need to.
Very
That's need to know
organized.
information.
I liked the time thing, that was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, that's nice.
Timer.
Even though we won't point out anybody specific that they went way over.
Albuquerque.
Okay,
And it turns
So-
red, too, not just the minus.
Yeah.
so I guess my last thing is, okay, so if everybody's on board, you wanna do this again, how do we get started? I mean, is there some people that are willing to be on a committee? I mean, we're having a lot of communication over email, conference calls, maybe talk to the pets folks. Since I've never been involved in planning an event like, I mean, this was easy for 40 people. If we're talking possibly 100, 200 people, that's a different story. And I don't have a lot of experience.
Let's talk about what, I mean, sharing it is obviously the advantage, but what are the advantages of this growing? I think you'll have less sharing overall,
It's hard.
in such
It would
ways.
have to be,
So,
it would have to be shared differently. It would have to be shared
Yeah.
differently. So
Yeah.
instead of 10 minutes per district, maybe every district is asked to bring like a 5-minute video or something like that. And there can be like some video times where they're showing some
so I'll
different
learn
things.
less about them than I learned about you
Individually,
all and
but
your
then-
style and everything.
If we have more
Individually.
free time to talk,
Right.
Sure.
And
I
then,
just-
and then other
sometimes there's
sessions
a-
on
Sure.
budget, on sessions on, I mean, we still have sessions on specific things, but, you know, it would just have to be done differently to accommodate that. That wouldn't
Sure.
necessarily mean that we would have to not hear from people.
We're assuming bigger's better in this case.
Figure's not
We
necessary.
do open forums a lot, government conferences too, where there is no agenda when you show up, and the first thing you do is everyone writes down a topic that they want to talk about, and then they take all the topics up, and then everyone votes on the top topics they want to talk about as a group, and then that builds the agenda for the weekend. We do that all the time. Because you don't know what issues people are faced with, and all of a sudden you get really hard topic, and everyone's hand goes up in the air, and it's a good idea.
I think the other thing to consider if we keep doing this, if we did this next year and it was all of us and just us next year, what am I gonna